back to Madness in the Method, the podcast where we talk exclusively about Nicolas Cage movies. And, no, not first, my name is Tobias Widén, and with me as always is my friend and trusty co-host Christopher.
Hello everyone.
And in today's episode, we're talking about the Brian DePalmas thriller Snake Eyes.
Yeah. Crime drama, maybe?
Yeah, crime mystery thriller, according to IMDb, and I guess that makes sense. Yeah. It's from 1998, which is this the second movie made this year? No, it's the first movie made this year.
No, it is the second. Second movie released at least this year. For
sure, yeah.
Cage. So, City of Angels was released before.
Oh, right, that was 98 as well, right. That was our last episode. Check it out. Check it out if you haven't. Right. And, I hadn't seen it before. Had you seen it?
No, I've not seen it. I've heard of the name, but I can't say I even knew what it was about.
Yeah.
So we talked a little about it last time.
Yeah.
So I didn't go in 100% blind, but like 90% blind. You hadn't seen it either.
No, I'd seen like literally like 3 minutes on TV sometime like in my early teens, but that's about it. I knew what it was about, that it was a murder, and I thought it was gonna be like the same situation from different perspectives, which is it kind of is, but it's more like a real time mystery.
Yeah, it's sort of like it's like three. I mean, gimmicks sound bad, but I don't mean it as a bad thing.
No, yeah.
But there's like three gimmicks that it has a lot of long continuous shots.
Yeah, which is classic Brian DePalmas. So
yeah, I think the first obvious cut is like 20 minutes in the movie. It's
I actually timed it because I knew Brian DePalma usually does long takes. One of the best ones is in Carlito's Way. The ending is almost 20 minutes long. This one is the very first shot of the movie is 13 minutes and like 20 seconds, and it goes all over the arena, like from the behind the scenes out into the crowd, up in the suites. It is an insane 13-minute one shot with Nicolas Cage just running around acting like he does.
And we don't have any that big again, but we have a lot of long shots. So that's
there are some more long, but that's a big one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, big one.
Then the movie's supposed to be in real time. I don't think it actually. It feels like it should. It can't be, because there are some like jumps in time or flashbacks to earlier times in the movie.
Yes.
So, I mean, it could be, but I'm not sure. But it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be, real time. And I wanted to like go back and time some stuff, but I had to play the movie on several screens, and it was just too much work.
Yeah.
But I think it's more or less in real time.
Yeah, and then the third gimmick is that we see the same scenes from different perspectives.
Yeah.
There's a few times, it's not a lot, but we see from the eyes of some characters.
Yeah, we see 3 different characters' perspective, and then we see, I guess, an unbiased camera perspective.
Yeah. So it feels like these, because we talked a little bit about it last time, and it feels like one of those movies where you remember one of these gimmicks.
Yeah.
That, the movie's in real time, or it's like a movie from different perspectives, or it's just one take. You remember one of those 3. Sort of.
But he threw in all of them. We should also say that it's we haven't really talked about the story, but it's not that much of a story, because it all takes place over roughly an hour and a half. So it's a senator is murdered. He's shot to death during a boxing match, and a cop, what do you call it?
It's not the senator. It's like the Secretary of State or something.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, some damn politician. He's shot, and Nicolas Cage plays a shady cop who has to actually do some real police work for once and try to figure out the murder, since his old like high school buddy was the
head of the lifeguard.
Exactly, the bodyguards. Yeah. Played by Gary Sinise. Yeah. And I gotta say, I don't know if I'm breaking the formula here, but I'm gonna say I really liked it for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I'd say it was a great movie. I'd say.
Yeah.
So the story isn't that special. But there are a few twists and turns, and I think most of them I didn't see coming. They were pretty good handled. There was always some suspense throughout the movie.
Oh yeah.
And so it was good job doing the story. But because I don't usually like crime dramas or thrillers,
sure.
I think it's usually kind of flat.
Mm-hmm.
We have. Also, because we here in Sweden have a lot of them.
We have a lot of crime procedurals, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty not impressed. But this movie also have the spice of some really interesting storytelling. A lot of good, interesting camera angles, a lot of interesting techniques with the long shots and the these, I don't know what it's called, but these overhead shots when we just see, when it rolls over several rooms and you see it from above. So you're never really bored. Either you're interested in the story or you're interested in technique. So it's always entertaining, I'd say.
Oh yeah.
So because of that, I'd say it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah. I gotta ask you though, at what point did you? I guess spoilers. Yeah, we usually don't care about spoilers. At what point did you figure out that it was Gary Sinise who was like the head bad guy?
Well, it was the reveal.
Oh, okay.
I didn't, because it was at that point when he walks down the stairs, slowly walks down the stairs, or go to that back room where he says he's not going. And I was like sort of, because that's the first real twist in the movie. So I didn't think there was going to be a twist.
Oh, okay.
So I was not looking for it. And then when that came, I was like, wait, is he a bad guy?
Yeah.
And then he starts talking with the other bad guys. He was a bad guy all along.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I'm usually really bad at figuring out like twists and turns. But it was just something like, because he sits down next to Nicolas Cage as the fight is about to start. We said that it was take place during the boxing match, right? Yeah, we did.
I don't think. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now we did.
Yeah, now we did. Yeah, it takes place during this boxing match in this hotel. And he sits down next to Nicolas Cage, and he has the congressman or whatever, the politician behind him, who he's there to protect. And then he keeps looking over to this woman in a red dress, and like thinks it's out of order that she's there alone. She might be a spy or whatever, a murderer. So he gets up to like talk to her and like ask her who she is. She runs off and he runs after her, and I was like, that doesn't seem safe, because now you left the politician wide open to be assassinated. Like, excuse me. I was like, when you see him run up the stairs after her, I was like, nah, he's the bad guy. Because immediately after the guy is shot, he comes down again, brandishing a silenced pistol. I was like, what the fuck? So for me, I mean, I didn't know, but I was like, no, he's the bad guy. He's the fucking bad guy.
You weren't able to buy incompetence.
No. The guy's a fucking commander. You can't be that incompetent to get the rank of commander, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it is quite obvious if you look for it.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's one of the good parts of the movie, that there's so many things happening.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically in that part of the movie. It's a lot of things happening, and we look at it from Nicolas Cage's perspective. So you're sort of overwhelmed with all information, so you don't really, well, I at least didn't take in any. I didn't even realize he was brandishing a gun when he got back. I didn't even realize he was the guy who shot the killer. or the terrorist or whatever.
Yeah.
Until they, you did in the corridor, and you're like, no, you did good. You killed the terrorist. I was, he did that? I thought he was on the loose still. I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't realize he died.
They didn't really, because Nicolas Cage never saw that. So yeah, there's a lot of information we don't get right away. I didn't realize that either until like later in the movie when they explained it.
No.
But that's interesting, to have. I mean, you're not supposed to figure it out. It was just a fluke that I did. Like I said, I never do it otherwise. But something just happened. My brain snapped into gear, But it's interesting that you got information like doled out like piecemeal throughout the movie from these different perspectives. It's a classic, mystery, like a detective movie almost.
Yeah.
And I mean, except for some stuff at the end, I thought this was like a real, like, I don't know, explain, like a classic movie, I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? It's like a movie. It's not just it's a movie about it. No, it's a movie. It's an event. It's an experience.
You're talking. It's cinema.
Yes, exactly.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what all the old directors are talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This isn't a theme park ride. This is a movie.
Yeah.
It's Kino. Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah. So,
more or less.
I get what you're saying. It is very. I mean, you feel that it is a. I don't know if that's the right word, but sort of old school cinema making.
Mm-hmm.
Put it like that. And it is this, and they experiment with things, and they try to do some cool stuff, but it's not just doing some cool stuff, but doing cool stuff with experience.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this could easily have just been shot like a regular movie, because, like I said, the story isn't that interesting, really. But they decided to, because it's Brian DePalmas, they long shots, a bunch of shots that are, like, from the first-person view. You even have Carla Gugino's character, she breaks her glasses, so whenever we see it from her perspective, everything's blurry, that just adds, a bit of the complexity and depth to the movie, and it was so much fun to watch.
Yeah. What?
No, I was gonna, but I was thinking, because I think I should get the feeling, because most people had that problem. When did you feel like the movie started falling apart? If it did for you.
Well, I didn't really think it was falling apart, really. But I think right at the end, where Nicolas Cage is leading the other guy, the bad guy, Gary Sinise, to her hiding place.
Mm-hmm.
When I follow him with the GPS.
Oh yeah.
From there, I'd say it's sort of. I was thinking Deus Ex Machina, a lot of it. There was just a lot of convenient things at the same time. We didn't really have an ending, so we just we need to wrap it up, sort of.
Yes, that is definitely the end, or the resolution to the murder is definitely the weakest part of the movie. The movie isn't quite over there, but it's basically the ending.
Yeah, but before that, I even after that, I wouldn't say at any moment the movie fell apart.
Yeah.
Was it something specific you were thinking of? Or?
No, yeah, it was basically the same, and I'm just rushing kind of towards that part of the discussion because I was reading some reviews, and I like in my head once again I'm maybe rushing a little bit, but this is like a 7 or 8 out of 10 for me. Mm-hmm. But it got pretty middling reviews, which really surprised me. And most people, even those who liked it pretty much, all said that it loses all tension and momentum after the big reveal when Gary Sinise says, "I'm the bad guy." Oh. And I did not get that at all because
no.
at that point, or when we find it out, when Carla Gugino is talking to Nicolas Cage in the staircase, I guess there also, because that's when she
okay, so that's
reveals
the point.
it. Yeah.
Because I was thinking the most intense part of the movie is when we know he's the bad guy and he's going after her, and Nicolas Cage is also going after her through the casino, and that's
that's the best part. Yeah, when they're going up to the hotel rooms. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's
they're both
one of the best
her.
parts of the entire movie.
Christ. We gotta get back to that, but I just gotta get this out of my head.
Yeah.
Because like for them, from a lot of the reviewers and critics, and even some like user reviews, they felt like the tension was dropped because the jig is up, we know everything now, and the movie still has like 25 minutes left. But for me, I felt like the movie just shifted instead of being like, who did it? We gotta try to figure out who, why, and how. Instead, it becomes more of a like personal, character-driven last act for Nicolas Cage's character, because up until that point, he is the classic like shady cop who takes bribes and he does shady deals and he's more of a gangster than a cop really. But at that point, he has to actually like do the right thing. He has to protect Carla Gugino, and he has to arrest or maybe even kill his friend, Gary Sinise, because not even him can be that corrupt at that point. And it's this like, he's having like a crisis of faith in that staircase. And I really enjoyed that. How it's like switched over to that instead.
Yeah, I agree. But I think maybe this is me speculating. But again, we're watching this in the context of watching all Nicolas Cage movies, whatever it is.
Sure.
We don't really go into movies hoping or wishing for a specific movie. We just want to see what it is. If we go into this movie, imagine this is a movie that's in cinema, and you go out to watch it, and it is the PR or the marketing is saying that this is a crime thriller. Who done it? Just if you just look at the poster, it's sort of believe anything but your eyes. And it's very very much one of the tagline is watch closely. It's one of those you go into it to figure it out, like all crime dramas, to figure it out.
Yeah, that's true. And
but then if it's just revealed in the middle of the movie, you have half the movie left. But I thought I was gonna what?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and I think that's a lot of the expectation. And if that's what you think of the movie, you go into this as thinking it is a procedural crime drama. Yeah, I would be disappointed as well. I think.
Yeah, that makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah. So I think it's just that. But if you go into it as we do and just it's a movie, let's see if it's a good or bad movie.
Yeah. We're watching it more to analyze it, not to be entertained as much.
Well, yeah, and also we haven't chosen this movie. We haven't flipping
true.
around on Netflix and just this movie sounds interesting.
Yeah, that's
this
true.
Is the next one in the list for us.
Yeah, I've now that you mention it, yeah, I've had that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I think I recently watched a movie where like, this wasn't the movie I expected. It sucks.
Yeah, exactly. So,
okay, fair enough.
So I think it is understandable to be disappointed in that way. But then if we look at the critics, the actual the professional critics of the movie, then they should be able to look past that, I think, because
exactly,
that's not really what they are here for.
And some of them did, but then once again, the more I read of Roger Ebert, the less I like him as a critic. He gave it a horrible 25 out of 100 on Metacritic.
That's unreasonably low.
Yes. I know we usually do this end, but I just have to read that one. Then we can go on to talk
this
about
episode is just everywhere for some reason. We're not following any of the standard way, so just go for it.
Because he writes, it's the worst kind of bad film, the kind that gets you all worked up and then lets you down instead of just being lousy from the first shot. So he has that like his expectations were squashed when he thinks the mystery is going to be throughout the movie, and then halfway through, it's like, oh, you're just gonna reveal the killer? Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get that with the general audience, but a guy like him, who is, like you said, a professional critic, should be able to look past that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Well,
but again, it is. We've talked about a lot of this off air. Maybe it's time to put it on air.
Okay.
Just the concept of a professional critic is kind of a weird concept, though. It is a person who is talking about their personal experience, and for some reason we should listen more to them than another regular person's personal opinion.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, they shouldn't do it, but on the other hand, it's impossible to do it. You can't review art in a completely objective manner.
No, it's always going to be subjective to a point.
Yeah.
For me, at least, we're not going to, because I've had discussions about professional critics.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say, like I said, as a professional critic, though, you should be able to review the objective parts, like the craft, the cinematography, the acting.
Yeah.
So, maybe you didn't like the twist, but I mean, the movie still looks good, right? So to give it a 2 out of 10, I mean, that's not fair.
Yeah, no, that's
fair.
just wrong. That's just wrong. You can't. I mean, I could buy if someone was really disappointed in it to give it like a 4 or a 5.
Yeah.
I could.
Oh, yeah.
I could get that, but a 2. I mean, a 2 is reserved for the bottom barrel.
Yeah,
shit.
that's
shit
like movies.
That's like the Neil Breen kind of bad movies. That's 2 and 1s.
Exactly.
And I did read some comments about the movie that people talk a lot about that the acting is bad.
What?
Yeah, I read several places that people say, the acting wasn't that good, or the acting is kind of cheesy. I didn't see that at all. I thought the acting was pretty solid from everyone.
Yeah, I can get the cheesy part, because that's the style of this kind of movie, because it's supposed to be like it's almost, I mean, they're not specifically doing it, but it's kind of like a throwback noir thriller. So if some of the acting is cheesy, that's fine. I still don't think that's bad acting. There's a difference between like cheesy scenery chewing and bad acting. I think everyone here was good, especially Gary Sinise, which people don't talk much about him anymore, except for maybe the Lieutenant Dan role in Forrest Gump, which he won an Oscar for that, I think. But I gotta say, this was the best I've ever seen him. He was acting instead of just talking like he usually does.
Yeah, it was a very interesting. It really felt sort of the Terminator vibe from him.
Oh yeah,
being this very threateningly doing nothing.
Yeah, and the fact that since he is, he's supposed to defend America from people like himself, he is kind of torn. Like, I have to do this, but I don't really like doing it, basically. And speaking of acting, Mr. Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
He brought the fucking A game in this one.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
those first 13 minutes, oh my god.
I mean, I said that several times throughout the movie. This is the perfect role for Nicolas Cage.
Oh, yeah.
Because he can do the like Rage Cage, just go all out being this slimy, weird, fast-talking, sort of unpredictable, crazy guy.
Mm-hmm.
But then also at the end, he can do this heroic Con Air kind of guy.
Yeah.
That he does both in the same movie, and I think it's perfect, because that's the two things he can do best, I think, so far in his career. I know he does a lot of other things later on, but at this point, that's his best parts.
Yeah, him. I mean, this is, not on the same level, but it's the same kind of character as in Deadfall. This like slimy, weaselly.
Yeah.
He's not technically. He is technically a criminal in this one, but he is a cop. Yeah. But it's basically the same character. We don't see it, but he obviously does a lot of coke. He throws money away. He wears expensive clothes. And he is just. You can feel how much he loves playing Rick Santoro, especially that first 13 minutes. And I mean, just the fact that he keeps the energy up throughout that entire scene, because he's like almost in every shot of that 13-minute take. It's insane.
and then at like the middle point and end part of the movie, he sort of mellows out and becomes this almost Captain America-esque, this you can't keep me down, I will keep fighting.
Yeah.
It's a good fight. I could do this all day, kind of thing. So yeah, it's a very, very good part, and again, this is one of those parts I can't see anyone else doing this.
No, yeah, we've been talking about that more and more in this. Like, it really feels like this is tailor-made for him. Like, no one could do what he does in this movie. I mean, they could, but it wouldn't be the same. This is uniquely Nicolas Cage.
And I think Brian DePalmas knew that, because if you read all the trivia that exists on this movie, there is several things about Gary Sinise's character who would play that. And they wanted Will Smith at one point, but he wanted too much, and Al Pacino also was one of the characters that would play that. Was in the lead, but there's not one line that someone else was for Rick Santoro.
That's just him.
Yeah. So yeah, it is. I think it is tailor made for him.
And like we said, for me at least, I thought Gary Sinise was great in this.
Oh yeah, he is great.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting to see Will Smith in the role.
I mean,
I think that could have worked too. But I think if it's one of those, again, Garrett Sinise isn't a small-time actor, really, but Will Smith is on another level.
Oh yeah, he's like a superstar.
Yeah, so if Will Smith or
especially around this time,
yeah, or even Al Pacino, that was also in the running. If either of those have taken that role, we would have known that first scene that he was the bad guy.
Yeah, because you don't put Will Smith.
You don't put Will Smith in a role and just put him as the lead's buddy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that he might be a little too young, but there's only a 4-year age gap between him and Nicolas Cage. That's insane. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So what?
That could have been. But I don't know. Like
it could have worked. It would have been interesting. But I'm happy with what we have.
Yes.
I wouldn't go back and change it more than for the curiosity.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of trivia and changing things, would you have liked to seen the alternate ending where everyone gets washed away by a tidal wave?
Oh, I read something about that, but I didn't read the full. Was that just everyone's gonna die, or?
I don't think everyone was gonna die, but instead of, at least from what I understand, when they're standing in that room, and the cop car drives into the wall, instead of him like shooting himself, a tidal wave was gonna come in and like wash them away, and I guess him and Carla Gugino was gonna survive, and Gary Sinise's character would die or something. I mean, there's not that much information about it, but something like that. Doesn't
seem like a big change, so...
No, but it would be this weird, like, big... Because it was all going to be done with, like, CGI, and it's going to be this huge effect shot in the end of the movie that, like, throughout the movie, there's been very little, like, digital, like, trickery or anything, and they would just end it with this big blockbuster ending for some reason. So, and it's not like they didn't cut it because someone said, no, that's too ridiculous. It was basically like, no, it's too expensive. Otherwise, they would have done it. And that sounds really weird to me. To just throw in this, like this wrath of nature in the end.
Yeah, sure, but it would have been... It's one of those weird endings that... Yeah, it would definitely been weird. But I think it could have worked in the movie. It's one of those... I don't know what it's called, but sort of the ending of Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
One of those endings where he says, "What? Huh?"
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, it could have worked if the effects were up to it. So I
just thought it was so weird when I read it. Like, what? A huge tidal wave going through the casino? Okay.
Well, I mean,
like, going from a like crime and mystery thriller to like a Stallone movie, like running away from a tidal wave in a casino, shooting guns.
Yeah, but they have foreshadowed it throughout the entire movie.
Yes, and that's all there because that ending was like cut way into production. So there's there's the whole storm, the opening of the movie talking about the storm, and he even mentions in the end like, "Oh, I wish I would have drowned back then." Yeah. And I was like, "What do you mean drown?" And then I read like, "Oh, okay." So it was just a line they couldn't work around that, so they just kept it in the movie.
Oh, right, that line.
Yeah, he just remember being in the gutter, wishing I would drown.
Being back in the tunnel.
Yeah, the tunnel. Yeah,
because he said that, and I was like,
"What do you mean drown?
Metaphorical tunnel?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?"
I don't know.
But, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And there's supposed to be one shot outside of the casino of an ambulance driving down the road next to the water, and you're supposed to see the tidal wave coming in. I mean, out to sea, because they'd already filmed that shot and put it in the movie. But I didn't pick up on that.
So how we talk about the ending? It's sort of maybe not falls apart, but it kind of it's very. Just wrap it up, the ending of the movie.
Yes.
It's just extremely convenient, everything.
Yes.
That the news is exactly right outside of the room, that the police is coming to get the news van away at a specific moment when the ball starts rolling, and the ball rolls into the thing, which makes the police car driving to the room just as Gary Sinise's character comes into the room, and that the door is locked behind him for some reason, and it's just there's a lot of things.
That is the worst part of the movie. That whole scene. Yeah.
So, do you have any ideas of how you would fix that?
Well, the tidal wave scene would have worked, having them like run around shooting at each other, because that was the point. But I mean, other than that, I don't know how you would fix it. And I guess that's why it is the way it is, because they had an ending in mind, and then the studio said, "Nope, you fix it, but cheaper." And they were like, okay, they're in a room and they talk, and then they shoot themselves. I don't know, actually.
Yeah. Because the only thing I could think of, I wouldn't say would be a good ending, but slightly better, maybe.
Yeah.
Just to, instead of introducing the cops and the news van and the rolling ball and all those things, when they are in that room, and Garrison is about to kill the girl, and Nicolas Cage is lying there almost dead from being beaten up.
Yeah.
If we could maybe bring back the boxer and punch down Gary Sinise, that he had a change of mind and redemption thing.
That could have worked, yeah.
Or we could be one of those, the Star Wars thing, that the boxer's there, and Nicolas Cage is talking to the boxer. Remember me from back at school?
Oh, yeah.
And it's because, and you see the boxer thinking, and then betrays Gary Sinise at the last second.
I'm not a bad guy.
Yeah, sort of. And just knocks him out, and then we can cut to this whole, which is pretty fun, that Nicolas Cage's character, Rick Sano, is raised, get a medal from the mayor and all that, and then he just falls by the corruption.
Yeah. Actually, that would work. Now I'm just thinking, like, maybe you could even just have the ending as it is, but instead of a police car slamming through the wall, have Carla Gugino like get out, because there's this debris that like cuts a hole in the wall. Have her, because she's like banging on the wall trying to get out. Have her actually get out, the news van is there, like already reporting on the wind and everything, the storm. So she runs out right in front of the camera. Like, what the hell? Out comes Nicolas Cage and Gary Sinise as well.
Yeah.
And now, and he's just about to shoot them both, and he realizes, like, shit, I'm being filmed. And then you have the whole him turning around and killing himself because there's no way out. Oh no.
That was what I was thinking. That would have worked
even better.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking is gonna happen when the spear thing pierces the wall.
Yeah.
And there's a hole. I was thinking, oh, she's gonna climb out and just
Yeah.
run into the news van and just grab the microphone and just start spouting off names and facts.
Yeah.
And that's broadcasted to everyone. And that would have been like the resolution. That's what I was thinking in my head.
I don't know if you've seen them. I just thought of the guy who runs up to the news lady and just goes, "Fuck her right in the pussy," and runs away.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like that, but about a conspiracy.
Yes.
So that was what I was thinking was gonna happen. So, yeah, I don't know. There are ways to fix it, but it I wouldn't say it ruins the movie.
No, it doesn't ruin the movie, but however you fix it, it's always, I think, like, however you realistically fix it, not like shooting an entire new ending, it will always be a little awkward, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think you can completely fix it.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of the ending.
Yes.
After the credits.
Yes.
What the fuck is that?
Well, the thing you see is the Redhead Lady, who is actually blonde, one of the soldiers, who Gary Sinise, he kills her and the drunk guy who screams, "Here comes the pain!" Yeah. Down in the tunnel when the first reveal. And the ring you see, because you see an arm when Nicolas Cage gets up after being beaten up by the boxer, and it's a first person view of him walking around down there. You see two other guys pouring cement in something, and you see an arm wearing that ring. That is the lady, the redhead lady, or the redhead wig lady.
I got that. I got all of those things, but I did not see the ring at that point.
Oh, okay. You see her.
I think I missed it at that point.
Yeah, it's just a real fast shot of like them on some sort of contraption, and you see one arm hanging out. You don't even see who the arm belongs to.
I saw the arm, but I didn't see the ring.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's what confused me, because we don't see like a hand or anything. We only see like this red gemstone.
Yeah, because they're hidden in the concrete.
Yeah.
And then we see that, the red ruby. And I was like, I remember that. Because I remember the shot of the arm. But I was like, who was the arm belonging to? And then I read like, oh, it's the lady. Okay. I'm not sure. I guess it's just like an Easter egg. Because it's not like, ooh, the truth will be revealed. No, the truth was already revealed. We know. Everyone already knows what happened. So I think it's just like a fun thing that there's a dead body in that column.
Fun.
Yeah, I don't know. But I knew something, because when the credits started rolling, and we still just saw people like working, like construction people working, I was like, they're holding on this for a reason. I'm gonna watch the credits, and then that's the big reveal. I was like, okay, all right, okay,
cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So, do you have any more fun reviews? Professional reviews?
There are more reviews. I just want to talk about, however, my last big, what I really liked about the movie is the fact that even though the movie starts out as just a crime, thriller mystery, like who killed the guy, whatever he was, the politician guy. We don't really have a lot of like backstory on the characters. It's not really character driven. At one point, it kind of becomes character driven, and we don't know too much about the characters. But there are like hints, even like from the very beginning of the movie up until the end, like Gary Sinise specifically talking about like him playing the hero is just gonna bite him in the ass. Why don't you just like act like a criminal the way you always do? And then he does play the hero, and in the movie, that's the way it's the absolution, like the anti-hero becoming the good guy.
Yeah.
And here he does that, but then the movie continues, and he's indicted, he is fired, he loses his family and his side bitch, so to speak.
Yeah.
And in the end, he talks about like he's going to prison for like a year or a year and a half or something. Like, yeah, like doing the right thing did not work out for him in the long run, which is kind of funny. I don't know what they're trying to say with that, if anything, or if it's just like, the irony of fate or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I thought it was real fun that everything just got fucked up because this one time he had to be the good guy.
I think that's one of the best lines in the movie is when Gary Sinise's character is sort of pummeling him.
Yeah.
And he says, all you have to do is be consistent, for God's sake. Do what you always do. Take the money.
Yeah. Like, why now? Just be a bad guy. Come on, you're so good at it. Nope, not this time, because I'm the guy in the movie. Oh, fuck. I should have been the bad guy. I thought that was
$1 million.
Yeah, I really like that. The hero is going to prison in the end.
I did like that the Kevin Dunn, the bad guy, Disney's character, that his sort of motivation, it wasn't right, but you sort of got it, that he was sort of broken after being in battle.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was sort of like The Rock.
The
character from The Rock, but made not so boring.
Yeah, not so sappy, so schmaltzy. He just told it like it was.
Yeah, that he was like, yeah, sure, people will die, but it's for a good cause, because politicians. Yeah, because politicians do what politicians do, and that makes soldiers die. Yeah. And I want to stop that. Sort of. And he just said, yeah, sure, this is maybe not the way I would do it, but I mean, I see what you're going for.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I think that was pretty good that he got this little villain monologue.
And I like that. I think without too much like obvious exposition dump dialogue, we got to know enough about the characters to make them, feel at least fleshed out enough for this story. Like if the movie took place over like 2 weeks or something, no, that wouldn't have worked because we need to know more of them. But since it only takes place over like basically 2 hours, you're not going to find out too much, but we get enough to like justify their motivations and their actions, and I that's always important to me. So overall, I liked it. The ending is gonna drag down the final score, but
it's a messy ending. It
yes,
is, but it doesn't ruin the enjoyment of the rest of the movie.
No, yeah.
It's not one of those endings where it's like, oh, he didn't die at all. It was just a big ploy to see if it wasn't one of those.
No. And this is like it's kind of funny because even though the ending is bad, I really want to watch this again. Mainly for that first like 13 minutes and that whole sequence when Nicolas Cage and Gary Sinise are both chasing Carla Gugino, but for different reasons and unknowing of each other doing it. So you're like, who's gonna get there first? And they don't even know that they're like chasing each other. That was that was the except for the opening, that was the best sequence in the movie. And you have her trying to get away, like making this guy take her up to the room and everything.
Yeah, and
that was so fucking nerve-wracking.
An overhead shot when we go through these like 3 different rooms or 4 different rooms even, and see what people are doing, and then we land in the room where they are.
It was so cool. Yeah,
and it's very good acted from what is it called, the guy that she charms?
I I thought he was the weirdo from Malcolm in the Middle who was in love with Malcolm's mother, but it's not him.
Oh, David Anthony Higgins.
Okay, yeah, Ned
That's
Campbell.
his name.
I don't think I've seen him in it. It is the guy from Malcolm in the Middle. It is Craig Feldspar. Okay, that's why I recognized him. Yeah, he's the weirdo. Yeah, he was great as well.
Yeah, because he, for some reason, you didn't think he was. You didn't think less of him.
No.
For some reason, because he is about to cheat on his wife.
Yeah.
And he's charmed by... But it was something in his acting and the way when he was, like, throwing her out from the room. There was some like... It felt genuine in a way that he was sort of smitten. But then as soon as the illusion fades, he was like, wait, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck are you doing?
I was worried that it was going to become like, oh no, I am a sex-crazed man and I'm going to rape you now.
Yeah,
but instead he was like, no, you know what? Just get out of here. I shouldn't be doing this. And you're just being annoying. Get out of here.
Yeah. So I think there was something. It was that character could have been. You have seen that character in a lot of movies.
Oh, yes.
That specific character, and you always hate them. That character. But I think he did it very good for some reason.
Yeah.
And that even helped in when he was thrown out of the room and then he runs into Gary Sinise.
Yeah.
And he just, they're in my room.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no.
It all felt very, it felt very natural. Like, this is how a person would probably react in a situation like this.
Yeah.
And it was fun that for that sequence, because he's basically in the whole sequence, back and forth. He was like he was part of the main cast, and he like he became a character almost. He wasn't just like the guy that she seduced to get away from the bad guy. No, he became a character.
Yeah, it was like he was a guy from another movie who just happened to stumble into this one. He was doing like The Hangover Part 1, but he just so he also helped that sequence. That sequence just, I would say, it is flawless. That sequence of events.
Yes.
Because we have so many moving parts that just worked.
Oh yeah, and you have what's his name? The security
guy,
chief, who's up in the control room, who's not
Mike Starr.
Mike Starr, yes, who also he's just part of the gang for that sequence, and so it's good that they have a good actor to do it.
Yeah.
I love when little characters just for a brief moment in the movie they almost become the star of the movie.
Yeah.
That's always fun. That they don't just treat them as, oh, he's an extra. No, he's just a tool to make the story move along. No, he's a character in the movie.
And I think this movie did that with most characters.
Oh,
most characters got their sort of moment, except of John Hurd.
Yeah, he was kind of.
He was barely in the movie, and when he's in the movie, you were like, "Who the fuck are you? What are you doing here?"
Yeah, and he's like one of the main actors in the conspiracy.
Yeah, and he's barely in the movie, and when he's in the movie, he doesn't give any impression at all. But except of him, there was like so many characters. Like Luis Guzman was also great, and Kevin Dunn. The reporter.
The actor Kevin Dunn, not the character Kevin Dunn.
Yeah, exactly. The actor Kevin Dunn.
He was great as a reporter.
Yeah, it was all this. When they were in a scene, you really felt like, oh, this is one of the main characters. And then that scene was over, and then someone else can be the main character for a while.
Yeah, and even the guy who played the politician, Joel Fabiani, the one scene when Carla Gugino is explaining her point of view, and he's actually like involved in that's when we get the whole conspiracy about, this new missile system is faulty, but they're going to try to sell it anyway. We have to stop this. Because at first you think he's just a greasy politician, and that's why he's being murdered. No, he's actually kind of a stand-up guy who they're just trying to they're trying to fool him into buying this faulty missile protection system. Yeah. And he's like actually like, no. Oh hell, we're going to get to the bottom of this. Don't go anywhere for 6 months, lady. You're going to be working with me. but then he dies. Oh shit! So for just a minute, he was another character in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, and this movie was very good at that. So
yeah,
this movie was very good at a lot of things.
It was very good. Yeah.
It was sort of bad at some things, but very good at a lot of things.
yeah. And like, even if you like, oh, the ending ruins it. Well, Nicolas Cage is just having so much fun in this movie. I think that saves the ending for me.
True.
He's so goddamn good in this movie.
Yeah. I think it's one of his best performances so far.
I mean, maybe not like Academy Award nomination worthy, but I mean, especially since his last one was a very, heartfelt, dramatic role. But I mean, this is the kind of role that could be nominated for like best, like, what's it called? Best male supporting role or whatever. But he happened to be the starring role, unfortunately.
I guess we're at the score. If you don't have anything else you want to bring up.
No, yeah, that's all I had about the movie.
You did give it a score earlier, but what is your official score?
I think I was just a little. I was a little jazzed up in the beginning. I said a 7 or 8. I think it's more. I think I'm gonna give it like a. It's like a weak 7 because the ending does. It drags it down definitely, but it's still a very enjoyable movie, very well made movie.
Week 7.
Week 7. So 7.
So this is on the same level as Con Air.
Oh yeah.
And It Could Happen to You. James and Andrew.
Yeah, it is. This is a movie I would definitely rewatch. So yeah, it's on that level.
I'm gonna give this not strong, not a weak. Straight up, just regular 8.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think this is one of the best we've seen. It's not the best.
No.
We've seen a few that is better, but this is pretty good.
There are like a couple really good ones. I mean, we keep repeating it, but Red Rock West and Leaving Las Vegas, and I guess for me, Vampire's Kiss. Those are gonna be tough to beat.
if the ending would have been as good as the rest of the movie, this would have been on the same level as Red Rock West.
Yeah. Oh, and from last week, Face Off, we both gave it an 8.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's Nicolas Cage, 1998.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes. Next week, it's New Year, 1999. And the first movie, he made 2 movies in 1999. And the first one, which one we're going to do next week, is Super 8.
Yes.
Or 8 millimeters.
Yeah.
Depends. I think it's Super 8 in Sweden and 8 millimeters in America, I think.
Yeah. One or the other.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would change that, but they did for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
I've heard a lot of good about this, and I just looked it up on IMDb. It's got a 19 out of 100 Metascore. Jesus Christ.
Ooh,
I haven't seen it before, so that might be very interesting.
that's very bad.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have seen it. I've seen it on television for like way back. I've only seen it once, and I remember at that point I thought it was pretty interesting, and I liked it. It's one of those movies that you always remembered. I always remember the movie, but I don't, not that much that I actually want to go rewatch it. No, yeah. I've heard that there are some like iconic shots in it. I haven't heard people say what they think about the movie, but there are some shots in it that just sticks in your mind. So I guess that's why people remember it. Yeah. But more about that next week, of course. Yeah. So we'll see what we think. Yeah. I'm just gonna say thank you so much for listening to this episode. Please check out Snake Eyes if you haven't. I don't really get the lukewarmer stuff Snake Eyes. But also, if you want to listen to all these episodes in advance, at least a month in advance, check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Not only will you get everything in advance, you'll also get commentary tracks, you'll get exclusive episodes of my other podcast, the Spoilercast,
and exclusive videos from time to time, and just a bunch of stuff, all for the low price of $3 a month. And you also help us, of course, to keep the podcast going. But other than that, I just want to say thank you so much for listening, of course, and following along. Just tell your friends. Tell your friends if you like this. Tell your friends about this great podcast you've heard about. Yeah. But other than that, we'll see you next week. And until then, have a good one. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Madness in the Method is part of the Please Don't Make a Scene podcast network. It is produced and directed by Tobias Vedén after a concept by Christopher Billén. It is hosted by Tobias Vedén and Christopher Billén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén. If you want to be a supporter of the show, please check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene, where you can get early access to episodes, exclusive episodes of other podcasts, commentary tracks, and much, much more. And we want to give a huge shout out to our Patreon supporters: Laura Kinney, Rasmus Jonsson, Mom, and Dad.